right, mic check 1, 2. Guys, let me know in the comments if you can hear me all right. Just getting back over to my laptop. This is a non-standard live streaming setup for me. So we're going to make do, kind of improvised here. Just let me know in the comments so you can hear me all right. Nice. Okay. Glad that that's working out all right. All right, let's give our scene switcher a try. Guys, hello. Let me know in the comments if you can see me. Actually, you know what? I made a little tactical error there. I have to switch all the way back to be able to see whether or not there are comments. There it is. Oh my gosh! All this stuff has popped right out. So I'm going to go ahead and pop the live chat out of here. You're going to be able to see live chat popped out. And I'll go full screen right there. And go full screen left here. And then resize. Guys, I'm using Fedora is my operating system of the day today. And I'll put that over to the right. So we will have live comments there. Yeah. Oh my gosh. All right. Okay. I'm getting feedback right there. You can see it in the upper left-hand corner. We've got the full loop there. So you guys, hey, your comments are being shown. Be on your best behavior, s'il vous plaît. We have, of course, women and children watching, which frankly in crypto means nothing, but you know what I mean. Let's be gentlemen. Guys, this episode is brought to you by MineYour.biz. As you know, this is the thing that I will shamelessly shill every single time that we go live. We have the world's best 8-slot riserless mining motherboard. It's world's best. How do I know? I've traveled the world personally and looked at every available option, and I know for certain there's nothing better. That's definitely how I know. All right, guys. Thanks so much for tuning in. It's kind of low-key, got that jazzy music in the background, and I wanted to talk to you about a couple of things. First off, markets, guys. The market is screaming right now, right? There's no way really to ignore the market at the moment, so I wanted to go live, talk about it, and then bring up a couple of projects that community members had brought to my attention not too long ago, that they said, hey, take a look at this. These prices are going up while everything else appears to be going down, or the price action over the last 24 hours is pretty darn good. Hey, guys, I'm seeing so many great comments in the comment section. You know who you are. So great to see so many community members back from all around the world, from Serbia to Berlin, and from the west end of the UK all the way to India, and then back to the States and even Central and South America. Guys, I love your face. It's not just lip service. You know that I really love being able to connect with the community internationally and talk about not just cryptocurrency, but technology in general. We're geeks together, right? United by our love of all things nerdy. So let's go over to CoinGecko really fast and check out Bitcoin. Thankfully, we're back up in the last hour, but we were down in the 7,700 range, which for me is just like a shock, right? I don't do technical analysis. I'm not going to pretend to have some kind of a lead on what the best possible analysis method is, if it's Elliott waves versus some other kind of specific Fibonacci retracement technique, figuring out exactly what the levels need to be that it hits. I'm not even going to pretend, guys. Not even going to pretend. You know, I don't even possess the skill set necessary to pretend like I know what's going on there. I just couldn't do it convincingly, right? If I tried to pretend. So these are the markets right now, and looking at the last, let's scroll down to I'll give you the candlestick indicators here, candlestick view there. I mean, red candle after red candle after red candle. Last 24 hours has just been really, really exciting. Last 7 days have been, yeah. Jim C brings up something great in the comments. Yeah, buying the dips, man. If you're ready to enter into the market, again, not advice, right? Don't pretend to have technical analysis chops or be prepared to deal with the fallout of giving people hashtag real advice. But man, this is attractive. This is the most attractive Bitcoin price that we've seen in quite a while, right? So, like Sir John's saying in the comments too, gut feeling technique. My gut is telling me that, I mean, this is the best price that it has seen for Bitcoin in a while. To kind of show some of my hand here, the last time that I bought Bitcoin was closer to this level. I wasn't comfortable in the 8,000s and in the 9,000s. So this for me is like, all right, well, I'm back to my cost basis for the last time I acquired. Why wouldn't I look at it now? Right? I mean, I hope that makes sense to somebody else here. Again, it's not advice, but I'm looking at it and thinking these markets are speaking very loudly to what I think I understand about them. So Vorn in the comments is saying, don't try to catch the falling knife. I'm with you. I just don't necessarily think that it's worth trying to catch a falling knife per se. But I do see that based on the strategy that I already have for Bitcoin, which frankly is not particularly involved, right? It's not this very involved strategy. But dollar cost averaging in with the amount of money that I'm willing to put into Bitcoin, why wouldn't I buy today as opposed to 3 days from now? I don't view that as like using some of what the capital is that I would normally put into my dollar cost average strategy. Why wouldn't I just take a look at the price action now and say, hey, this is a better time to buy than 24 hours ago, right? Or than 2 days ago. 2 days ago, obviously, look at that dip. Look at that dip. I kind of think it would be silly to say like, I'm going to wait longer. I'm going to wait for for it to fall even more. I don't need to catch the knife like you're saying at the very, very point, the very bottom. I'm just looking at it and thinking this kind of makes sense for me to perk up, pay attention, and then set some alerts inside of whatever my preferred buying app is. Maybe it's Coinbase because Coinbase has a really good alert system. Maybe I don't want to buy in Coinbase. Maybe I want to buy in like Cash App, right? Some people like buying anonymously using either Visa or MasterCard gift cards so that it's pseudonymous, and then creating an account where it's kind of a burner account. They can acquire their Bitcoin more anonymously, and then transferring it out of anything that's custodial or managed, right, over to their own Bitcoin wallets. But Coinbase is it's got a really good notification system for mobile. So if you're on iPhone or Android, I'm taking for granted almost everybody watching is. They're not on Windows Mobile or whatever. Then go ahead and download the Coinbase app and just set alerts. It's got really good system overrides for alerts. It's one of those applications that I guess they've gotten a lot of love from Apple and Google because they've been around for a while, so they're trusted. So yeah, I would set up alerts there. If you know that there's some other level or indicator that makes more sense for you, I don't know, then you do what works for you. Again, not advice, but the application, definitely check it out. I'll put some stuff in the description and links. There may already be some stuff in the description in the links right now for Coinbase. Some affiliate links there for Coinbase and for Cash App and for some others. Obviously, it helps the channel if you're not already using them, and you go ahead and add those. Oh, this is funny. You guys can see when stuff is hidden. I don't know what's going on there. Yeah, Jim, see, I don't know why it flagged that, but it's funny that you see the back end view here. I've only got a single screen for this setup. I could do this differently. I could set up the windowing system to just show you Brave browser over here, but that was funny. So yeah, guys, I'm on my Fedora laptop right now. I'm loving, by the way, the switch back to Linux. It's a little bit more tricky because I'm not on Ubuntu, and Ubuntu is like, it's like the Windows of the Linux world, right? It's just easy, and every piece of software is written for it. But I'm not a big fan of systemd. I'm not a big fan of sort of the system bloat of Ubuntu. And Fedora is not that much better either, let's be real, because, running either the K desktop environment or GNOME, they're not super lightweight. Anyway, moving on from Bitcoin, guys, let's take a look at this. This was brought to my attention by a community member. So shout out to T-Boy. He called out these 4 coin projects here because he had been looking at them. And let me know in the comments section if you're new to the channel or if you haven't seen anything from the Mind Your Biz community. If you're new to the Mind Your Biz community, would you like to see a weekly or maybe semi-weekly show where some members of the community like T-Boy and Meep and Virus hop on and we do an international chat? maybe a sort of like we'll channel our crypto is depressing podcast energy. We'll just talk about experiences where we've been wrecked on either mining or trying to trade or whatever else, or just maybe some positive experiences too, some wins. You let me know in the comments if that's something you're interested in. But Hedera hash graph right here. This had been gaining for a while. And T-Boy, there you go. See, the 7 days actually up. 7 days up. And the trend was just extremely bullish for the last month, right, for hash graph. And, of course, Bitcoin is catching coronavirus, I'm saying right now. So, of course, the contagion is spreading like crazy, right? So here, even hash graph has kind of succumbed to this pain. But you see, prior, let's go to the 7-day view here. Prior to the last 24 hours. Ooh, hey, Surgeon's got some really good feedback there about Ubuntu. I might go with that. Server minimal. Or I'll go to like Lubuntu or something with just XFCE. I mean, I've done that before, but just a more minimalist desktop environment. And then maybe I can... There's also a version of it, from what I understand, of Debian that doesn't include systemd by default. So many or far fewer background services that launch at boot. I might try that out. I might try some other distributions as well, guys. Just heads up. This may be part of what I do with the channel because I want to get away from Windows just as much as I can. And for my daily driver on my laptop, it doesn't have to be CentOS. I'm not going to be running any high-end video editing software or whatever. I'm going to be using just Kdenlive for typical editing on whatever my laptop uses, and then Audacity, tools that'll run on minimal hardware. So it doesn't matter which distribution I use, but I might try some out. I might try out some privacy-oriented options. Let me know if that's something that you're interested in watching. But hey, Jim C brings up the great point. And I called, I shouted out Ubuntu, or not Ubuntu, Dell computers years ago when they first started shipping Ubuntu on some of their Vostro line. And now, I mean, it's pretty cool. Pretty cool that they're doing that. So, ooh, hey, look, Pop OS, Budgie, Ubuntu. I'm going to look at all of them, guys. You let me know what your top recommendations are. I mean, even to the point that I'm interested in trying out Tails and some of the really, the really more, what is it, what do they call Tails? How do they characterize it? Is it an ephemeral OS or a forgetful OS, right? It's a live distro that every time you log out, the session just deletes anything that's personally identifying. It's kind of cool stuff, right? It's kind of compelling, kind of like Jason Bourne type stuff. When you take that USB drive out that it's running on, the computer completely forgets you. Kind of cool stuff. So may try that out as well. But guys, Hashgraph, it was way up and way back down. And you look at that right there, the 7-day, it was on a rip right there all the way up, and the trading volume shows it too. Kind of interesting to see that it did so well. Maybe something to look at now that it's dipping back again. Maybe there's an opportunity there. I don't know. Again, hashtag not advice. Get used to that. You're going to hear it every 2 minutes or so. Chainlink as well. And Chainlink, of course, is no stranger to getting media love recently. But let's look at, and you see right there's market sentiment right there, as measured by CoinGecko, right? There's the disclaimer. You can never tell where CoinGecko's getting their traffic or how to qualify that for sure. But last 7 days, it did quite well, or almost 7 days ago. Chainlink, it popped way up. Volume went with it, and then as the price dipped, volume went down, but it's coming right back up. I think there are people who are trying to buy that dip. Maybe this makes sense. I don't know, but take a look at Chainlink. This was put on my radar again by the community members, Meep and T-Boy. You let me know if you guys want me to do the three-way, four-way chat with community members later on. But Handshake as well, HNS. And hey, Vorn, I think that right now, looking at Chainlink, man, hashtag not advice. You've got the best opportunity that you've had in the last week to maybe get into Chainlink. Just saying. But Handshake as well, it's way, way down. But the trend from before, let's go back to the 7-day view. I don't think 24 hours is going to tell us quite what we need to know. Yeah, oh my gosh, look at that. Look at how much it's gone down. And I mean, the last 24 hours only dropped down by 10%, but still came out of nowhere. and then has all this volume, right? So, boom, popped way up. Volume's low. And then the last project, it's the one you never expect. Let's look at Litecoin, see what Litecoin's doing. See if it really is silver to Bitcoin's gold right now. Steady Yeti, man. Look at that volume. No, I don't know. Actually, it's going up. That's funny. Going up over the last 24 hours. Quite a bit in the volume. You guys tell me again. Like I'm not going to pretend to be able to read the market and understand fully what that change in volume means. And specifically, looking at Litecoin and seeing it kind of grow in volume over the last 24 hours, I wonder if this is people just hedging or against some of their other investments right now. Again, we know that the other markets, the stock market is just absolutely taking a dump, right? The Dow is way down, and all the other exchanges are just way, way down. So I'm wondering if maybe Litecoin is being sort of, maybe that wisdom of Litecoin being silver to Bitcoin's gold, maybe that's still kind of entrenched in the market, and some people are using Litecoin for a bit of relief, or as they see it. Don't know. Or maybe it's because they see worse things happening in the future. But Litecoin, really? Of all the possible cryptos? I mean, see that 30-day year? It's just down. It's down. 2020 just hasn't been kind to Litecoin. So I wonder what's going on there. Hey, Big Crypto Dave. Appreciate you chiming in, man. Saying last 3 pre-halvings have had price action where the price has dipped 20+% multiple times over 90 days beforehand. Scooping up bags of any major crypto projects right now is a good buy. Well, hashtag not advice from Seth, but hashtag advice from Crypto Dave. Haha! I kid. No advice at all given here. And yeah, guys, if you hear me a little bit sniffly, don't worry. I have not caught coronavirus yet, or if I have, I've been vaping Lysol spray directly. I'm pretty sure that advice, you can probably do that safely. Do I really have to disclaim that? Okay. I mean, I let that one dangle there for a minute, just to see if I catch anyone. But, alright, let's take a look at this. New York Blockchain Week 2020. I wanted to pull this up because this guy, Jason Yanowitz, poor guy, man. I know, I'm sure his heart's broken right now, but he issued a warning on Twitter, not a warning on Twitter, but a notice on Twitter at the very top of this list right here, Digital Assets Summit, DAS 2020, which I think he's personally directly involved in coordinating, has been canceled. That's for May 13th. And I mean, good for him, responsibly disclosed with enough time for people to make changes in their travel plans, their accommodations, everything else. And Jim C, thanks for giving me the disclaimer in the comment section. Hashtag not health advice. Don't huff Lysol. Appreciate you. So, yeah, Digital Asset Summit 2020. It's the first, right? The first of the major crypto trade show casualties. I mean, first it was South by Southwest, right? If you want to count South by Southwest as a tech show and having there be some crypto meetups and breakouts there, then really it was South by Southwest. But now Digital Asset Summit, where the entire intent, right? You like that also? I'm also going to touch my face and my nose a lot during this live stream. But the good news is we're not in person, right? I'll go wash my hands immediately after. Or maybe I'll just spray my hands with Lysol too. So, Lysol all the things. That's this episode brought to you by Lysol. So, Digital Asset Summit 2020, kind of a bummer right here. They said their registration was just a little over 1,000. They say, maybe the venue would handle just over 1,000. I wonder if they actually had 1,000 actually registered already. My experience of trade shows within the cryptocurrency scene since 2018 has been that they're not all they're cracked up to be, guys. I'm just going to say coronavirus may be the most convenient excuse ever for crypto trade shows in 2020 because there's just not a lot going on. You do get some people turning up to these events, but generally speaking, from what I've observed, my comment is just I don't know what value they add to the space, personally. Maybe I'm being unfeeling. Maybe some of the event coordinators are extremely good at getting the right people in the room, but I just haven't seen it. So Digital Asset Summit is the first casualty. They say they had about 1,000 plus in accommodation or in capacity. I just don't think that that was the case. Hey, who's this? Yankee. Welcome to the comments, man. Good to see you. So yeah, they're one down. How many to go? 4 more. Consensus? I don't know, guys. What's the over/under on Consensus actually making this thing happen? What do you think? Tell me in the comments. Do you believe that Consensus is actually going to continue to forward with their plans of having this trade show? I, for one, think they're going to do it because CoinDesk is huge and they're probably highly motivated to just, bare minimum, have an event happen. And I think that they're probably overextended into this event because this is their baby, right? This has been their bread and butter for a couple of years. Sure, they've got a wonderful news outlet. Their website has got some of the highest traffic anywhere in the cryptosphere. But I think that Consensus, the actual event, they really bank on that being the place where deals are made and where their brand equity grows faster than on their website. So I personally think Consensus is still going to happen. We'll see. Maybe they do back out. Yeah. Yankee, you're right, man. In the comments, a bunch of salespeople trying to close deals, trying to look for, trolling for suckers, right? Like, how can we get the next easy mark? And then, yeah, the merch for sure. That said, a lot of that stuff is swag, right? I don't know how much merch is actually sold on site at those trade shows. Man, the swag bags are they're epic, right? When you walk away with 2, 3, 5 hardware wallets and then enough crypto t-shirts and hats to fill your wardrobe for 2 years, man. I mean, it's just ridiculous. It's just ridiculous. Everyone's trying to get you to remember their name, and so they'll give you whatever it takes to make sure you do. I don't know. It's a lot of spend. It's a lot of spend, right, for vendors to show up to these things. Ethereal Summit, I don't know. The Ethereum core development team, at least, is very comfortable doing remote work. So the Ethereal Summit, I don't know. If parts of Blockchain Week, New York Blockchain Week, start to disappear, I think Ethereal Summit may be one of the other ones that does just not show up. That they just say it's too big a risk because we have people here who are actually building stuff, and we don't want to endanger them by showing up to one of the most highly trafficked U.S. cities and exposing them to international travelers. That's just my guess. And if anybody from the Ethereal Summit is watching, I'd highly recommend that you consider it at least. I think CoinDesk is not going to, again, they're not going to cancel Consensus. At least I doubt it. Ethereal Summit, I think you probably could without having, without suffering too negative effects afterwards. Token Summit, also, there you go. Ooh, all right. So Token Summit apparently hasn't necessarily even been confirmed. Let's just take a look at their website and see if anything comes up. Well, that's loading. Oh. Dark mode. You're welcome. Sorry, guys. I've got the Dark Reader app installed, and sometimes I can't tell when it's chosen to be on or off. That's just funny. I've loved this thing, by the way. Just as a side note, I know I'm not trying not to completely free flow here because there's some of the stuff that I wanted to talk about, but man, this has been dominating my life space for the last week as I try to figure out how to make this work with my browsing habits. But Dark Reader is pretty darn cool. Let me write that in the comments right now. Darkreader.org. So darkreader.org, guys, that's where you can download it, but they also have the link to their project GitHub. So if you want to just fork it, and audit it or whatever, the full code base is there for you to audit this. Make sure it's not doing anything weird or malicious. But it's just a CSS toggle switch for every website. And if you want, I'm going to lock this in for justmedium.com and start making adjustments to some of these values. So brightness, contrast down. It's kind of weird. I wish that they had like an HSL slider or it's just some of the representation of how to adjust the colors, the color palette. But you can see that I have all kinds of options here. So sepia tone, if I want something that kind of is more of a like amber tones for bedtime. It's pretty darn cool. This plugin is absolutely changing my life. And they made it available on anything that's a fork of Chromium and then Firefox. So absolutely loving this plugin. Just thought I should mention that since it invited itself into the show. Go. Set that back to neutral, and then boop. And then back to nuclear. You're welcome, eyeballs. So Token Summit 5. Let's see if they have any official announcement on the Token Summit website. Nice! Not secure. Good job, guys. Somebody renew that certificate. Yeah. There's nothing renewed for 2020. I think that they would have that live if they intended to have a show for 2020. So I imagine that Token Summit 5 is just not happening. Yeah. Though, hey, Token Summit. If anybody from Token Summit is watching, or anybody who has influence regarding Token Summit is watching, consider doing a virtual conference. If you're actually going to have between 300 to 500 attendees, consider just doing multiple events where you would normally have your keynote speeches and have them be closed sessions of between 50 to 100 people. That way you can filter them into a website or a properly multiplexed live stream or webinar. And yeah, maybe you guys can be the heroes that the current coronavirus scared world needs. And then Block Summit, let's see, 400 people. Oh dear. Yeah, Block Summit, I imagine it wouldn't be impossible for Block Summit to just bow out of New York Blockchain Week and be okay. Dang! Deloitte. Well, again, same thing as Token Summit. Block Summit, if anybody's watching, or if you guys have influence with regarding the planning of this event, consider just doing this virtually and, yeah, slashing the price. Obviously not so free. You guys want to build value. I get that. And anything that's sponsored by Deloitte, you want to you want to have be a premium experience, and you want people to pay a premium for entry. But consider doing it virtually. Again, there are a couple of these events that I think would be just fine that way. And if not, then dang, I'm going to consider doing some kind of a virtual summit myself. True story. Talked about doing the Proof of Work virtual summit 2 years ago and just never got that off the ground. I even bought the domain name, guys, futurepow.com, and just never built out a website or never built out a plan for creating some kind of a summit to discuss all kinds of proof of work concerns, from algorithm design to hardware to mining OSs, all of it. We just never got there. I don't think that the industry gave any indication that there was a need for that, right? I mean, you got this event right here, right, by Deloitte, and they're talking about maybe having 400 people show up. I just wasn't sure how many people would show up, how many real industry players would show up for a virtual mining summit. So anyway, what might have been. The saddest words ever, right? All right, so guys, that's my take on it. I think that all of these events could shut down, but I think consensus, if I had to hazard a guess, I don't think CoinDesk is going to let it go so easily. I think it's the biggest event, and yeah, I'd be surprised if they do shut it down. So, has Bitcoin caught coronavirus? That's the big question, right, of this episode. And I'm just going to say I think it has. Let me show you something that for me was absolutely terrifying. So if you know anything about dropshipping or just-in-time fulfillment of goods and services, then you know that AliExpress is heavily leaned on by young entrepreneurs in the United States and all across the developed world, right? So anybody who's into digital entrepreneurship, right, or web entrepreneurship, uses services like AliExpress to fulfill their stuff. Here we are on AliExpress's homepage. Let me pop the text size up just a little bit, guys. Oh, dang. All right, and there's front page stuff here, right? So what is that? Some kind of a DSLR. There you go. It looks like an outside the waistband gun holster, but it's for your DSLR. That's funny. Let's click through that, and it's going to open up a new page. Hopefully it actually gives us the product page. Okay, so it gives us the category page. And all kinds of stuff. There you go. A little blower, lens blower. Those things are very helpful. Let's look at one of these stabilizers, right? 3-axis gimbal stabilizer. No! Uh-oh. What's going on there? Men's clothing. Let's go to the full category. Oh, wait. No men's clothing on the entire site? Well, surely iPhone accessories must be available. That's your bread and butter. Oh, no. Guys, AliExpress is down. That's where I'm going with this. Good grief. What the crap? Sorry. It's totally NSFW there. It's okay. My stuff was already flagged as being for grown-ups only, but I wasn't expecting that. So, yeah. Guys, this is a really bad sign of infrastructure already beginning to decline. And, oh man, that's a really good deal. It's a really good deal, actually, for a 3-axis gimbal. I hope it can actually show up. Nope. Star. Nope, none of this stuff is going to show up. And I've tried logging into my account. I've got one. Kind of a bummer, guys. Kind of a bummer. If you can't send payment for orders, then you can't do fulfillment for the last mile between an e-commerce shop that does drop shipping and your customers. Really kind of a bummer. So AliExpress is broken. I think, guys, this is the very first indicator that the global economy is in for a serious shakeup. I'm not going to be some kind of forecast some kind of doomsday prophecy or whatever, or say that I think that the world is ending, right? Or that it's going to hell in a handbasket. We already knew that stuff was happening, right? We know that the world is in a weird state. Right? Hey, Mohammed, haven't seen you in a while. So we know the world is in a weird state, but having the main sources of manufacturing not be easily accessible, this is going to make things really rough for a while. So I'm of the strong opinion that if you live anywhere that you can, get a hold of just some basics, right? I'm going to pull up, get a little shop here on Amazon. This is crazy that this is not working as expected. But I've got a little grid down list right here, lockdown grid down, among other list ideas that are on my Amazon shop. Go ahead and drop that in the description or the comment section. I wasn't kidding, guys. I really do have something that's kind of like a cold. It's the Corona cold. Oh, that's weird. I just tagged myself. But I've got a list idea right here. And it shows just some basic stuff, really simple stuff that you can get on slow shipping that'll help improve your at-home prepping situation, right? A lot of people don't have anything set aside at all. And I don't know how people manage to live like this, but I grew up in a home where we always had a first kit available. I used it a lot. I was a not accident-prone kid. I just got into a lot of adventures, and so I got banged up a lot. Had lacerations, bruises, broken bones, broken teeth and stuff. I did crazy stunts. And so I was always in the first aid kit. And so I was just used to having there being one at home, right? So an enhanced first aid kit, I always had one when I struck out on my own, right, as an adult, going to college and getting married, having kids and stuff. And so that first aid kit always had not just the basics right here with a set of scissors and sutures and gauze and stuff, but I always had larger bottles of peroxide, rubbing alcohol, always had some kind of Neosporin or triple antibiotic ointment, always had larger gauze strips and extra Band-Aids and stuff, butterfly closures and crazy glue. I just had all that stuff. All that stuff was available. And Jim C., you're talking about Utah Goldbacks, huh? Yeah, that's funny. So Jim C. mentions Utah Goldbacks. Yes. So Utah, there's a Precious Metals Association of Utah, and they issue, I don't have any visual aids with me right now, but they issue a bill. It is a physical bill that has a thin gold foil on it. And the gold foil is in the amount of either $1 or $5, or I think they've finally gotten the $10, $20, and $100 designations. And it's issued at a specific point in time so that you have the corresponding amount of gold. And yeah, it's good stuff. Yeah, Jim C's right. It is good stuff. Gold is not bad. Gold in a vault, right? Gold in a safe, probably better than gold held custodially, right? Otherwise, why'd you buy a bearer instrument like gold? right? As an asset. That's just dumb. Same with cash. If you are going to have cash, a little store of cash, obviously cash in the bank is not the same as cash under the mattress, and cash under the mattress is not the same as cash in a safe or a vault. So anyway, guys, the first aid kit stuff here and all this little prep stuff, it's really basic stuff. It's the sort of thing that you might already have if you're into outdoors a lot. A water tester right here, though, this is pretty important in that if you think that for whatever reason during lockdown, you think that there's some kind of a problem with the water supply, maybe your municipal water reclamation facility has been shut down for even a day, you'd notice that there'd be problems with cleanliness in the water supply. So, yeah. Yeah, so, and Sir John brings up a really great point in the comment section. I'll address that in a minute. So, for right now, though, with water, if you test it, then you know whether or not the culinary water coming out of the tap is good, right? If it's generally good enough to at least boil for food, right? Like boil lightly for food preparation. If there's too much crud in it, though, you may need to filter it first, even before you boil it. Like, sure, boiling gets rid of the pathogens, but still, it can taste absolutely horrible. So, doing a little water test and then, smell test, both will let you know whether or not you want to do any kind of filtration, including, right, active carbon filtering for flavor. So, a water tester's a nice thing to have. These are sort of gravity filters. They're submicron filters, all the way down to a tenth of a micron filtration systems. They're LifeStraw knockoffs, actually, made by a company called Membrane Solutions. And LifeStraw it's a good product, a perfectly good product, but Berkey does a massive charge up on that product. I mean, like almost double the price of what Membrane Solutions does, and it's the exact same tech. So that's why I didn't list LifeStraw here. There's a little pump activated filter that uses the same triple or quadruple stage submicron filter system there. And then chlorine dioxide tablets, just regular water tablets, if you had to get water some other way. And then face masks, they're not here for the reason that you might think they are. I am not advocating that people go out and do a run on face masks. I just like having face masks and gloves. Hey, you got the Deadwood in the comments. Good to see you, man. So, face masks, for the same reason as nitrile gloves, are important to a first aid kit. If you have an unexpected really bad laceration, or unexpected really bad, primarily laceration, right, when you've got the skin broken open, then you don't want to be getting really close to an open wound and breathing on it or touching it with your bare hands. Even if you've washed your hands, you want to try to have like a full barrier, so that way you're not risking any kind of infection the other way around, right? Like if blood comes out of a wound, and then you don't want to have that on your face, on your nose, in your mouth, on your hands. Like if you have to do sutures, it makes sense to be protected. So that's why I have that stuff there. I have a buddy growing up. He's a firefighter now, actually, but a buddy growing up who broke his. It was a double whammy. I think he was jumping over a fence or something. He broke his finger, and he cut it open while he was jumping over it, and so he had to suture it himself. Granted, he didn't really have to. He could have just gone to his parents' physician, right, his family doctor, because we lived in a nice enough area, and his family had insurance or whatever. He was fine. But he didn't want to tell his parents because he knew his mom would freak out. She was just that way, right? So instead of getting his mom worried by showing her that he had cut his finger open and broke it, and I think in a couple of different places, he sutured it himself using fishing line, using low-test fishing line, and I think actually a fishing hook. It was like so dirty and jagged, the little holes that he cut himself to suture up his finger. And then he splinted it himself with like popsicle sticks or something. It was so bad. It was so bad. When he bent his finger after he did that, it like turned sideways. It was so bad because he just couldn't set it right. But these are the experiences that I had growing up. I think kids these days, they never have stuff like that, right? That stuff never happens to them. So, Jim, to your point, you're right. Everybody should have stuff like this in their house anyway. I'm blown away when I meet families and individuals who don't. there are more people than ever who are going into the world as adults, like air quotes adults, who don't know that they should have this stuff on hand. So that's why I made a little prep list for just this stuff. I know, weird. But yeah, larger gauze, I think 4-inch is kind of like the sweet spot. You get a really good price, really good bang for the buck. But then also if you had to layer multiple gauze strips over one another to go over a longer laceration, you could. Butterfly enclosures, that's just if you want to. I don't know, I think crazy glue is better. Faster if you have a really big gash anyway, and if it's urgent. But, you know, butterfly, if you have like a smaller gash on the head where there's bigger bleeding. I'm not gonna, and again, hashtag not advice, guys. This is not your first aid crash course. Hey, the Deadwood 11, man, that'll teach you some character. Because he had to pay for his own stitches and broken bones after age 13. That's just it, man. One way or another, you do pay for it. For some reason, like, there are some kids that get off on, like, injuring themselves, right? Like, they're gonna, okay, I'm gonna show mom and dad that, you know, they have to pay attention to me or something. I don't know. But, good for you. Good for your parents. That's cool. Then on the list, guys, I've got a little multi-tool. Got a solar array that provides just enough voltage to be able to charge an outboard battery, like a lithium-ion battery like this. Yeah, totally. Lysol in Walmart is gone. You are totally right. It is gone. That's why I listed it here. So you can get it direct from warehouse. Just get it direct from warehouse, guys. Get it direct from warehouse. This is the same price that you were paying at local distribution just a few days ago. And you can get it on Amazon. That's why I added it to the list. And going back to Sir John's comment about washing your hands, he's totally right. I mean, that's absolutely correct. The Dow is down even more than 2K. Last I checked, it was like 1,500. I just have not been, I don't have real-time notifications on Dow right now. So, yeah, but guys, as far as like washing hands, hygiene versus this whole coronavirus spread, it's not wrong, man. I mean, every major epidemic, every major health crisis, right, over the last 100 years, 200 years, since there's been broader adoption of good hygiene, vis-a-vis washing hands and indoor plumbing and stuff, those advances have always helped more than anything else. And I mean, including, I'm not going to go like fully anti-vax on you here, but including vaccines. Good hygiene has helped with this sort of stuff faster than vaccines have. Hands down. I mean, again, hashtag not advice, and hashtag I'm not going to do the research for you. You do it yourself. But just good hygiene, guys. Soap, water, scrubbing for a full 20 seconds, getting all the way past the wrist. And if you know you're going to be handling food, there's no problem in washing like a doctor, right? All the way to the elbow. So, yeah, this other stuff is just kind of a formality, just having it in the kit. I added batteries, solar chargers for those batteries, right? This is a, 25,000 milliamp hour battery, almost 26,000 milliamp hour battery pack. And nice to just have. Then this guy, I put on the list just because the additional lithium polymer batteries, they're just great to have, right? So these extra batteries, they're so useful. They're so versatile, right? The 18650s, I mean, you can wire them into a power bank. You can use some voltage conversion to get them to do other stuff, right? Like, these are so generally useful that I think more people should just have these as part of their hobby kits, personally. And like Jim C was saying before, man, every household should just have a hobby kit like this. So Deadwood saying, I work outdoors repairing dry rot in homes and carpentry, masonry, roofing, whatever. I'm not worrying about the virus. I'm in filth all day. Nice. The virus is afraid of you, man. Nice. So yeah, guys, as far as like the first aid kits, everybody should have them. Hobby kits, I think everybody should have them, including a bunch of 18650 lithium ion cells. And then these cheap LED, focusable LED lights, they're just like, they're practically free with the purchase of batteries. If you want to consider it that way, they're really cheap, and yeah, and they work. So why not pick up a couple of those? And again, don't go like ultra expensive on the Torchlight brand. when you can pick up a few of these for dirt cheap. They're practically disposable. Same style of LED flashlight that, for example, you might have mounted onto a firearm for self-defense. So, though in that application, I would go for something more expensive, so that way you don't have to worry about under duress or in an emergency situation for self-defense. You don't have to worry about potential failure for that equipment. But for just having emergency lights around the house or in sort of a bug-out bag, a few of these are fine. The failure rate is made up for by getting a few of them. So, I don't know. I think that's good stuff to have. And then towards the bottom of the list, guys, fire starters. Masks, I put them there because it was available. And people want to know where they can get them. Paracord also. Why not 850-pound test paracord? Good stuff to have, especially in safety orange. People always think that they've got to go full spec ops. This also right here, this one looks gray, but it's not tactical gray. It's actually retro reflective in the alternate stitching. So when flashlights are shined on it, it reveals the location of the user. I think that stuff is way more useful, like generally useful, than getting stuff that is like whatever olive drab and black and tactical gray. That stuff is fun. It's really fun, but I mean, we're not going to go from the threat of a possible like really bad flu infection globally to The Walking Dead overnight. It's just not going to happen, guys. So people who are talking about prepping like they're going to have to go shoot their neighbor in the face, right, to steal his dog, to then cook his dog up for dinner, like, no, that's... Slow down there, Turbo. Just not needed. Oh, cool. Yankee saying here that he recycles the 18650s out of old laptop battery packs. That's awesome, man. You did? You made a Powerwall? Bro, that's awesome. So Jehu Garcia, he's a YouTuber that I just absolutely admire. He goes over some of those projects. Let me know, Yankee, did you go through his tutorial or did you do this one entirely on your own? Because you're that kind of guy. I would expect you to have the chops to just decide that you wanted to do a project like that, but I'm curious. Did you check out Jehu's videos and follow along one of his tutorials? Because that's awesome. And yeah, getting him reclaimed, man, you just saved a landfill. Good for you. So, last couple things, guys. There's Wise Company, long-term emergency freeze-dried food storage. It's there because people are asking. But if you're going out to whatever, the local Costco or Walmart and buying them out of rice and beans, you're doing it wrong. Everybody else is trying to do that. Everybody's freaking out, and there's just not a good reason for that. But in that sort of home emergency kit or, 72-hour kit, bug-out bag, you probably should have a magnifying glass. Definitely helps you start fires for longer than a Zippo lighter, right? Zippo lighter can run out of fuel. A magnifying glass will never run out of sunlight during the day, right? When the sun's shining. I have to hashtag rewind that to say hashtag not advice because sometimes the sun does set at night. But during the day, your magnifying glass will always start a fire. Sir John wants to know some anti-zombie weapons. That's a good one, man. Really, really good point. I'm trying to think of what I have close by that I can show on camera and not get this fully demonetized. I'll say, this one, I've got at hand. Got this right at hand. If it's literally zombie apocalypse, though, that's where I think this is just fine. If it's typical prepper stuff, you don't ever want to throw your weapon. But if it is zombie apocalypse, go ahead and throw a knife. Because they can't throw it back. They're zombies. But yeah, these aren't going to help you. In the meantime, though, I really like this kit. It's 12 throwing knives. And they're actually quite sharp. Got the paracord wrapped handles there. Just, for fun, for comfort. It's a light handle wrapping. So, hey, Jim C., bravo, man. That's awesome. And that's super important for you to have all this stuff in your RV. I think the fundamental problem with most people is that most people, maybe they don't do recreation. Maybe they don't do outdoors. But a lot of people don't have enough of this basic stuff. I'm seeing stuff on, for example, crypto Twitter. And I know that's not the perfect example. Crypto Twitter is something else. Yeah. Mind If I Squanch says, can you do a gun symbol with your hand? Or is that a no-no on... Is that a no-no? It might be, dude. You never can tell, man. The state of media these days, especially this platform. I'll say this. Here we go. So So here we go. If you had this, there's a Korean company called SGM Tactical that is awesome. They are the bee's knees. So SGM Tactical, they do 17-round mags. Sorry, ice scrapers. 17-round ice scrapers. And they're great, right? They're G19 compatible, they're G17 compatible. They're really compatible with any of the G family of ice scrapers. And SGM Tactical, they cost less than stock, but they're metal lined, and so you don't have problems with feeding different kinds of casings, right? With whether if you have to use steel case or if you're into using steel case or aluminum, they still feed because they're metal lined instead of all polymer. I do not like all polymer ice scrapers. So anyway. Yeah, Jim C. Most people can't start a fire without a match. You are right. You're right. So that's what this little list is all about, guys. I started this list because everyone's freaking out about coronavirus and saying they have to go to Walmart or Costco and buy up every little bit of dried food, right? So all dried goods. Pasta and rice and beans and everything is being bought off the shelves there. And it's like, dude, that's fine and all. Good for you for having a little bit of food storage. But running on the infrastructure the way you are right now, retailers are not going to know how to restock their shelves because you're going to go and probably eat through all that. The average American family, they've got a budget, right? So if you just spent all of your food budget on long-term food storage style items as opposed to what you would normally eat, then what does that do to your buyer behavior? The consumer markets are going to be absolutely wrecked over the next couple of weeks as retail grocers and big box stores like Costco and Walmart try to figure out what the heck they're supposed to stock. It's just insane. So let's see. Deadwood says, I camp on the side of Mount St. Helens and always keep my 1911 and Rottweiler at hand. Nobody bothers me. That's great, man. Stopping power. Get a Rottweiler. Yeah. See what I did there? So have I used Jet Boil yet? No, I haven't used Jet Boil, but using jet stoves or rocket stoves rather, is something that I'm curious about, and then also creating smaller rocket stoves out of like a soda can or like a can of Red Bull. You reshape them, and then you can use just a tiny bit of fuel, and it gives you a really high efficiency. Might do a video on that, guys. This is not something I talk about often, but there was a time when the King of Random channel needed a co-host, and I actually applied to be a co-host on their channel a while back. We didn't go very far. Rather, I think I did okay, but then I didn't pursue it. But little crafts like that always interest me, right? So the outdoors stuff and then the maker stuff. Anyway, guys, I don't want to drone on too long here, and I run that serious risk because I'm not feeling super well, so hard to stay focused. But yeah, the main question is Bitcoin catching coronavirus? And I think that the answer is pretty clear, that it's definitely sick, but it might just be the flu. Guys, thank you so much for watching to the end of the video. Thank you so much for being supportive. Thanks so much for checking out stuff over on mineyour.biz. Not just products, but also some of the merchandise, some of the educational material in the blog, the new podcast, for example. Thank you so much for being supportive of everything that we're producing over there and that we're working on. Thank you for being subscribed, clicking the bell icon so you're notified when we go live next time. You're the reason I make this media. I love your face, and I will see you in the next one.